Last time I had the pleasure to speak with Mr. Brian Adamson, we talked about some verses from the Bible. It was very eye-opening for me. It was really fun for me to see how the Bible, thousands of years ago, could be related to today's environment. So what I'm going to do today is read a quote from Elena Cardone and see if there's any connection back to the Bible. Brian, you ready for this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you follow me on my daily financial news, I read it there. Here it is. Surround yourself with people who fit your future, not your past.
Love that. Love that. I mean, my philosophy is if you continue to hang with people that fit your past, then history will continue to repeat itself.
Yeah. If you want something different and you don't change, yeah, that's called insane. That's
For
that's
sure. For
that's not
sure.
good.
So, and I just was having this conversation, I forget with who, but I was talking about how if you look at some of the best sellers, right? Think and Grow Rich. Like a lot of books that are very well received from a principle perspective.
Mhm.
Typically, those principles are derived from the Bible. They're just remixed, right? Because people don't want to associate themselves with the Bible because it feels religious when really the Bible really isn't a book about religion. It's a book about a king and a kingdom, and there's laws in which to govern yourselves to have success within working within the constructs of this kingdom mentality, right? And so it's really not about religion at all. And
Hmm.
so I think people disassociate themselves with it because of the connotation behind it. But the truth is, everybody is remixing it. So to that point, right? So Elena's quote said, um, can you repeat the quote one more time,
I
Mike?
will absolutely surround yourself with people who fit your future, not your past.
Right. So Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and become wiser, associate with fools and get into trouble.
It did not say that. Did it really say that?
I, I quote, Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and become wise, associate with fools and get into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear my mother saying something very similar. when she was talking to all my friends that I was hanging out with. New friend.
Yeah. But what we tune into, we turn into,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
right? So it's just the principle. And it amazes me how many people that their growth is stunted because they're trying to do a new thing in an old environment.
Well, that's the thing that gets me, right? Because I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've interacted with tens of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see these little, I call them little flickers, right? Little flashes of people wanting to make changes in their lives. And that's where it all starts. We all have to have this moment of inspiration, or maybe it's a moment of like, enough's enough, like one of those two things. And then they try to make a right turn to go somewhere new, but they bring all these fools or old friends with them. And right or wrong or indifferent, they just pull this person back and the flash or flicker is gone.
Yeah.
You've got to cut that off if you're going to go. And it doesn't have to be about money. It could be about health, religion, family, hiking. I mean, it could be whatever your thing is that's net new. You really can't make a dent in that thing with the same baggage you had before. Go find a new group, right? And it's so important. More people need to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, I'm not a farmer by any stretch, but I understand the concept of how important the soil is in order for the seed to be successful and what it needs to do within that soil.
Mhm.
So if you got this old soil that's no longer good, ain't been tilled and got down to some new soil, some more productive soil, some soil with some better nutrients, and you go to put this new seed on this bad soil, then you probably not going to end up with a good crop.
Yeah, you can't. It's to me, it's again, right? I'm trying to create flickers or flashes that people can hold on to and go further and farther. But you have to make the choice of letting go of the old so you can have the new, right? There's that old saying, I don't forget who said it, show me your five friends and I'll show you your future. It is rock solid truth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Show me your calendar. I'll show you what's important to you.
So, okay, let's talk about that then. So, why is it so difficult for people to let go of the people in the relationships and the habits that no longer serve them if they're so committed to doing this new thing? I got my opinion. I'm curious of yours.
Well, I mean, you know, I'll relate it to high school,
Okay.
right? Again, right? You go through high school, your freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior, you're big man on campus. You typically you find your boys when you're a freshman, right? You're all uncomfortable. You may or may not know each other, but you're in this environment, this pressure cooker, and you're low man on the totem pole. So you build these relationships through some probably uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you go through, again, 4 years, same place, all of that, your boys, you've got common history, you've had common battles, you've had common mistakes, common victories. There's stuff that you can build on. But here's the deal. When you leave high school, some of you go to college, some of you go to the military, some of you go get jobs, you know, and at least for me, I have no connections. Dude, I have no connections from college, right? Even my MBA program, I have no connections. And I think a lot of people just feel like they need that, right? They're going to hold on to what they know and remember without realizing that holding on keeps them from going anywhere meaningful. That's kind of what I think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe some of the worst things that happen to us as human beings is what we're indoctrinated with, typically from our adolescence, right? Now, I can speak specifically coming from, my culture, right? Where seemingly we're always playing from behind. There's a lot of history behind that I won't get into. But with that, then becomes some other unhealthy indoctrination, which is you always stay with your people. You're a sellout if you don't stay with your day ones, right? As you, right, the people you just described is who I will call your day ones, right?
Yep.
These are
Agreed.
like your closest friends from adolescence, from middle school, high school, and then the idea behind life is supposed to be under this indoctrination is that you stay together your whole life and you be friends for 30, 40, 50 years. The problem with that though is if once we get out of high school, and not that we're not even in the same industry, but if we don't have similar aspirations and appetite and movement, then somebody's holding the other one back.
Yeah, the lowest common denominator wins.
Period. It always does. And so I can, and I tell young people this all the time, young people. I mean, I'm 40 now, 41 now, but younger people, I tell them this all the time. Get very clear about what it is that you want to do. And also accept the fact that you're different. If you're in a friend group and you're over indexing while everybody else isn't, it's not to put you above them, but you do have to acknowledge that you're different than them.
That's the
Because
key word.
you,
That's the
you,
key word.
you
Different.
got to
Not
acknowledge
better,
that.
not worse.
That's
Different.
right. That's right. And you got to accept that, because if you don't, you'll continue to shrink to fit into places that you've outgrown. And if you keep doing that, you'll find yourself getting stuck there. So instead of shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown, inspire the ones that you can to come with you. And those that don't, then you need to go find some places that make you feel small again so that you can grow in that area. I was watching this clip about the evolution of a lobster, right? And when a lobster outgrows its shell, it has to like de-shell itself in order to get another shell to grow into. And it's a very uncomfortable process, right? But we can learn a lot from that lobster, because for many of us, we get stuck in a shell that was from 9 seasons ago. We're supposed to be in a 9x bigger shell, but we keep keeping ourselves stuck in that situation based off of all of this bad indoctrination about what's important and what's not. I heard something Grant Cardone said, and I don't know if it was in a book or a clip or probably both, but he said he was talking to some guys and they were bragging about how they had been buddies for 30, 40 years. And he was like, why? And it was just that one question was so profound to me, because
Yeah.
his thought process was such as ours, like, I need to be making new friends every year because these new friends are going to help me to do the new thing. These guys that I was got remember win stories and getting drunk at the parties with, they're not helping me reach the goal. So if all I have is 24 hours in a day, which is an even playing field for everybody, including billionaires, by the way, then how I'm investing that time and who I'm investing it with is going to give me a return on investment.
Yeah.
And that's either going to be positive or it's going to be negative. But it's up to me as to how I allocate the time and who I invested with. And so I can't blame the outcome of my life until I look at the inputs that I'm giving it every single day.
That's why the book Extreme Ownership was such a hit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what it is about the environment today, but there's so many people that want to blame other people for other things. I've just never been there. I've always assumed everything is my responsibility. And that book is what really highlighted why that's so powerful. Because if you assume everything is your fault, you can control it. You can improve it. You don't give power to anybody else, right? Even if a bad thing happened, nope, my fault. My bad. Should have done this, should have done that. Instead of blaming somebody else. So if you want to get six-pack abs, get wealthy, buy a whatever, don't be the lobster trapped in the shell.
Mm.
Go get in a new room. Go get in a new environment. If you want to be something different, be around other people that are something different. The other thing that we've kind of been dancing around is human beings like comfort. And being the new person in the new room is uncomfortable. Now, for some of us, like you, Brian, you thrive in that environment, but you are a
No,
unique.
sir. No, sir.
Oh, no.
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, I would have guessed
Eh,
you were
But
all
believe it
over
or not,
that.
so I'm introverted by nature, right? But
Anybody here believe that?
hey,
I don't
listen, I'm telling you the
know.
truth. But but it can also become an unhealthy excuse if I'm not careful and watch it.
Yeah.
Because it can keep you from raising your hand. It can keep you from speaking up. It can keep you from going out and networking with individuals, which is all requisite for your true success. Um, but believe it or not, yeah, I until recent years, and I still have to like work myself through it. It's just that I go through that process a lot faster than I used to. But yeah, I have to work myself up to go into new rooms and bigger rooms. I really
Yeah.
do. But and I'm always a sponge first, right? I listen way more than I speak in any new room. And
Smart.
so, you know, that can also though be negative if you lean into that too much because then you're not offering up your insights.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's challenges at every level, but the key is though, regardless of how uncomfortable I feel about it, I still do it nonetheless. And I think that's the takeaway for the viewer is while you may be able to identify with many of those characteristics I rattled off, the difference between myself, Zuber, and others is that we still put ourselves in the uncomfortable environment, even if we don't aspire or feel like doing it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Again, folks, if you're going to be a part of this, I'm putting on a great school community, a virtual room where you can get in, mentor, ask questions. We do a in-person event February 15th, 16th in Vegas. Come be in the room with 450 amazing individuals. Brian, you got one more Bible verse that I should be noodling on?
Since you asked, Mike. Which, by the way, shout out to the Orad family. We just were like, let's take a flyer on this and see what happens, right? And the
Yeah.
response was unbelievable. So shout out to the Orad family. They digging it. You really gonna like this one.
All right.
You actually not even gonna believe this is in the Bible. But Proverbs 13:7 says, some who are poor pretend to be rich, others who are rich pretend to be poor.
Shut up. That's not in the Bible. This is like a time machine or something to social media. That's not in the. Say that again.
Proverbs 13:7 says, some who are poor pretend to be rich, others who are rich pretend to be poor. 2,000
Uh,
years, let's say you.
that is amazing. That is so right on.
It
To
sounds like
like
it's been a
today.
lot of the same problems for a very long time, Mike.
Yeah, we got a lot of pretenders. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That
Crazy.
that 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 actually makes me chuckle. It makes me laugh. Oh, that's hilarious. We got to keep doing this. This is pretty awesome. Brian, where can people find you?
Brian Adamson official everywhere. And by the way, you guys do not want to miss that ORAC celebration. Trust me when I tell you. Mike and I were talking about this offline a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about day one and day two. And I was there, right? And fully participated in the event last year. I swore we were there 3 or 4 days. Like, it's that much content, networking, it's nonstop. I don't know what the cost is. Just make sure you pay it though. Because whatever you pay, you're gonna get far more in return than that. So, I know tickets are probably selling out already. I just want to encourage any and everybody.
Yeah.
If you can, get your butt in Vegas in February for sure.
Yeah. Well, the reason it felt like 3 days is because we went 12 hours on day one and 9 hours on day two.
Don't
So
tell them that, Mike. They're gonna be scared to do the work, man. Don't tell them. Don't tell them that, man.
hey, I want everybody to know coming in. If you're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
come,
that's
come.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty
I'm
funny.
just teasing. No, because you
I
know
know
what?
you are.
It's really the movers and shakers in the room.
Absolutely. The
It's
room made
for,
the
it's
room
for
made
who
the
it's
event.
for. That's right.
Yeah.
For who it's
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
room made the event. The speakers were great, sponsors were great, but it was the audience sitting there, the interactions, the networking, the VIP. It's just I I'm really excited for year number 2. So should be fun.
Me too.
All right, take care.
All right, bro. See you next
Mhm.
week.